welcome to Finding Your Mojo, Fireside Chat with Tarun Birani, founder and director of TBNG Capital Advisors. Tarun, thanks for joining in. Tarun, we've spent a lot of time talking to a lot of our guests about youngsters wanting to achieve financial independence, financial freedom in their 40s or even their early 50s. But Tarun, I want to start by asking you, is financial freedom and financial independence important when you're in your 40s? Is that even a need? I mean, what is wrong if you've got to work till you're 60?
Great question. I must say this is a great question, and I can relate with how I started my career. And at that point of time, I had that same dilemma that why it is so important to do savings, why one need to look towards financial security. So it is important to discuss the why part, why financial independence. I feel this financial independence part is critical because as we speak, many of us are working just because we hate our job, but still we keep working. For the simple reason, we really don't know what to do. And we know if we'll stop working, we'll stop getting our paychecks on 30th of every month. And by that, we will not be helping ourselves. So that worry makes a lot of people to keep working the way they are working. Okay. So financial independence is not about retirement. It's a very negative word when I talk about retirement. For me, financial independence is a state of mind. That state of mind which gives you like a bird, you want to fly, you want to do or pursue the things which you really want to do. Okay. And let me give you some 3-4 strong reasons why one should look at financial independence. One is inflation. Trust me, inflation is a big eater. And as we speak, what we used to spend, let's say, to eat out, maybe it's not a relevant one in this pandemic period, but we used to, 15 years before, we used to spend, say, 100 rupees for 2 people in a restaurant. As we speak, 1,000 rupees is required to eat. What we used to spend on our gadgets 10 years back and what we used to spend today. I think the inflation is a very, very key difference. And one need to be aware that unless you don't save, you are not going to change your standard of living in future. So again, very critical. Second part is, as we speak, compared to the developed countries, India, the social security is very weak. We don't have a social security system wherein we don't get the strong pension income and all those kind of things. So again, very critical to have a second alternative stream of income for yourself. Again, I see the world as we are in right now. It's a consumption-oriented world. You open the TV, you go see the IPL and the ads which comes in. Everybody wants you to spend. Everybody wants you to take a credit card. Everybody wants you to buy the best iPhone. Everybody wants you to buy a sedan car. But trust me, everybody is thinking about spending, but nobody is thinking about how should I save and how should I take care of my future. As a thumb rule, one need to look at 30% of the income need to be saved come what may. That as a thumb rule, if somebody start looking at, the financial independence part will be very easy. And again, the important pointer of the compounding part. This compounding as a magic, I think most of the youngsters don't know. I think we have not been taught in our colleges or school what does compounding mean. And due to that, we end up doing a fixed deposit in HDFC Bank, but the foreigners are picking up HDFC Bank shares. So my quick take on the financial independence part, it's a very critical one.
Completely take your point, Tarun, but I'm just going to spin this around for you, right? We always say that money is more valuable today than it is tomorrow. More importantly, everyone, like you said, every consumer brand wants a share of your wallet when you're young, which means there are so many more avenues to spend your money on when you're younger. It's so much easier to live a luxurious life, to travel, to do things that you may or may not be able to do when you're older. So value of money when you're old is to pay healthcare bills. When you're younger, is to live your life to the fullest. How do you sort of play that balancing act?
Brilliant question. And I must say balance is very critical. I'll give you a couple of examples. Boris Becker. As we speak, Boris Becker completely broke because he ended up spending a lot of money and he was not able to manage his debt well. Okay, so I have numerous such example, people who have not planned well and they are living a life of a pauper after their 50s. So again, this is very critical not to spend everything what you get, right? So it is a very fine line one need to draw, that how much I want to spend and how on what I want to spend. Again, as Indians, we have been taught always to buy a property. Property is the first investment which our parents want us to do. But if I look at last 7 years, this strategy has gone completely wrong. Anybody who has put in money in property, as we speak, the value of property has not appreciated. At the same time, we are spending a lot of money in paying the EMIs. So one need to be aware that what are we looking at actually? Do we genuinely want to create wealth, or we want to build up assets which are completely not achieving anything for us? So, and according to me, answer for that is to create a financial plan for ourselves. A financial plan helps you identify what are your key priorities in life. Okay, you want to buy a Mercedes or a BMW, that's your priority. Write down, after 5 years, I want to buy that. You have to work towards buying that, not by taking a loan today. You need to define your priorities very clearly. I want to make sure, let's say at age 40, I want to have a financial freedom corpus for myself. Define that, measure it. Define that figure, 3 crore, 5 crore, 10 crore. I want to reach at my age 40 this figure and work towards that. For my children, future goal. And though we are talking about less than 45, less than 25, they are not married. But at the same time, you need to look at your priorities. Once you have defined your priorities very well and you have a purpose, the purpose part is very clear. The second part would be to look at options. Because if your purpose is, let's say after 2 years, I want to go for a holiday, I want to save for that. Trust me, I can't recommend a long-term investment for it, or an equity-oriented or a high-return investment for that. You have to look at a safer fixed deposit or a debt-oriented investment for that. But let's say if you tell me I have a 10-year horizon, 7-year horizon, that dramatically changes the equation, and then you can look at higher return assets. So trust me, before getting anything, stay away from the noise. Define your purpose very clearly. What do you want to achieve? What are your 1, 2, 3 important goals, financial goals you have defined for yourself? Once you have defined it, measure it, put a number to it and start working towards it. And accordingly, the investment plan can be created for that.
Right, fair point. I guess you stick to the process, but then you're going to be one amongst many, one amongst masses. When you get older, you will have a corpus, life will be comfortable, but it will also be monotonous and you need to stick the course. What about people who want to break that glass ceiling? What about people who decide that they might not want to have children? They might not want to get married. And of course, that's not for you or me to advise on, Tarun, but if you're in your 20s with very high risk profile, or you might have been in your early 30s, recently married, no major responsibilities, you might choose not to have children as well, then what is the sort of ideal risk profile or ideal sort of portfolio you would recommend for someone who has limited responsibilities and consciously?
So, investment is a very boring subject. Let me start with that. It's a very boring thing, and the glamour work or the fancy word, fast making money kind of techniques doesn't work there well. I have seen you have to decide whether you want to do gambling or investing. Okay. So I think what we are talking about, we need to be very clear whether you are looking at the scenarios which you spoke about. The single, you are not going to get married. Let's say a scenario where you are not going to have kids, fine. But you need to define the purpose part very clearly. This money is there for 3 year, 5 year, 10 year. How long I want this money to be invested? I'll tell you what is the serious problem, the question which you asked me, how people start looking at it. People always start looking at based on past performance. Let's say a Brazil fund in last 1 year has given 150% return. Everybody will jump into it without getting deeper into that, whether this investment is good for me or not. The reason for that is nobody does that suitability exercise. investment is a prescription based medicine. It is not a self medication kind of thing. And I think this is one of the biggest problem I see among the youth. They feel that you can do it yourself. Trust me, investing requires a competence. You need to have a skill set. Okay, for that you need to get yourself diagnosed, that what is your ideal risk tolerance level, what is the time horizon you are looking at. And I can tell you, two people of age 30 studied in the same school, having the same friends, but their risk tolerance capacity would be very different, because we all come from a very different background, right? What our parents have taught us, how do I look at risk, is very different. So this need to be diagnosed properly, that what is your genuine risk tolerance level. And I have seen scenarios, let's say take a classic scenario of 2000, when market fell by 30%, and there was like any stock you buy with a IT name that will fly, that will become double that 20% up the next day. But the problem with that approach is a lot of herd mentality creeps in. So my strong suggestion would be to get yourself diagnosed, and after that, once you have defined, let's say, okay, I am a high risk taker and I am looking at investment option, and the suitable option is a high risk option, then there are a lot of good options available. And again, there you need to figure out this investment, if for next 5 days, if the world stops for me, can I keep this money idle there? Again, that is a big problem, where a lot of youngsters invest just to make quick buck. Trust me, it's not a quick buck place. It will require a minimum temperament of 5 years.
Right. Also, I'm going to do a quick rapid fire with you. We've got a couple of minutes before we got to wrap up. Do you need to look beyond mutual funds if you have to create alpha in the long term? Or if you're looking at multiple returns?
I think after class first, you need to go to class second. You can't jump from first to class 10th. Okay. And I see a lot of crave to make fast money here. I think mutual funds to start with is a great instrument for anybody who is a starter and who has limited savings. Trust me, buying a direct equity stocks, it requires a lot of competence. I think just because you will tell me, okay, this company is going to fly in next 15 days or 1 month, I would say that is speculation. When you are looking at genuine investing, you need to look at a lot of factors while investing into a stock, like what is the management, what is the quality of management, what is the sector outlook for next 2 years. So all these factors require a lot of deep work. And my problem is the quick buck strategy, which all these youngsters want to deploy right now, will not help them achieve that. So the best way to start is to start with focus on mutual fund. You can look at exchange traded funds, ETF or index funds. Again, they are a low cost, great tool one to start with. Once you make a meaningful portfolio out there and you think you have a lot of time to research on direct equity, then only get into it. Otherwise, you will get into some bad accident and maybe you will lose a lot of capital because of that.
So keep the excitement down. Sometimes boring is good, and I think
it is boring. It is a very boring subject. It is a very boring subject.
Move away from a little more boring stuff to cryptocurrency. That is another talking point amongst youngsters, older people, everybody alike. What is your quick take on cryptocurrency? Buy Bitcoin or avoid Bitcoin?
So frankly, I don't know anything about crypto. I keep reading crypto is going up and down. And trust me, still I am yet to get any meaningful evidence that this is a relevant asset class. For me, still asset classes continue to be equity, debt, real estate, or alternative assets like commodity, gold, and all those things. Crypto is still to get in my scheme of things, so I don't have any comments to make on that.
Right. So very lastly, any sort of advice for youngsters watching us today? Stick the course, be boring, and I guess plan for the long term.
Right. So my quick advice will be 2 C's and 2 P's. 2 C's are have a clarity, be clear what you want to achieve, create a purpose for yourself. Second C is consistent. Once you define, be consistent and disciplined about it. Let's say you have defined a saving of X amount, let's say 10,000 rupees for yourself. Make sure come what may, for next 2 years, 3 years, you will follow that. You need to be consistent. two P's. One is the preparedness. You need to prepare yourself for emergencies. Currently, we are going through a pandemic situation. Nobody knows tomorrow. You can have a job loss. Your business will be, you may be out of the business. So you need to make sure 3 to 6 months of your expenses are available in contingency. That preparedness will help you not to deviate with your plan. Another thing is persistence, the second P. You need to be persistent about that. Okay, this is my financial goal at age 40. I want to achieve this X corpus. Trust me, nobody can change you if you are persistent about it, and you need to do some deep work around it. People want to make quick money. There is nothing like quick money, and it's a boring subject. Trust me. Thank you.
Right. Keep the excitement on and don't chase quick money, because that's not going to be sustainable. Thanks, Tarun. Great talking to you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.